Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in once again. Got another great video for you guys. But before we get into the content of this video, if you haven't already, please like this video, share the channel, and subscribe to the channel. So today's video, we're going to be getting into a number of topics. And the main topic is whether African Americans are citizens of the United States. Now, the reason we're going to get into this topic today is because Moorish Americans, they tend to teach that African Americans are not United States citizens, and that they're not United States citizens because they use terms like black to classify themselves, and that black is not a nationality, and that there's no, every nationality in the world has a flag, and that black has no flag. So today we're going to take a look at whether or not blacks, aka African Americans, are U.S. citizens. Race equals black, white, American Indian, Chinese, etc. Nationality equals American, Brazilian, Haitian, Jamaican, etc. Moorish Americans, this is not your flag if you were born in the United States. So you claiming that Moorish flag is incorrect. If you were born in the United States, this flag is your flag. This flag is your flag. Now, Moorish Americans like to confuse race and nationality, which is very odd because race and nationality are two completely different things. So I don't understand. They claim to be educated, so I don't understand why they try to conflate and confuse these two terms. They don't want to call themselves black because black has no flag.
The Parkway, where all the nation's flags at, and there's not a black flag up here. Come on, man. Come on, handle that. There's not a black flag up here.
Race and nationality are two completely different things. So I don't understand. They claim to be educated, so I don't understand why they try to conflate and confuse these two terms. They don't want to call themselves black because black has no flag, which makes no sense. Black is a race. Whether you're black or white, if you were born in the United States, this is your flag. Whether you're black or white or Chinese, whatever. If you were born in the United States, this American flag is your flag. Now, the Moorish Americans, you guys that are born in the United States and try to claim this Moroccan flag as your flag, you need to stop doing it because this flag is not your flag. One of the things that Moorish Americans like to say is that in regards to this 14th Amendment, when this 14th Amendment is talking about persons, they say that this persons that it is being referred to are corporations because they know that as far as the legal definition, persons are also corporations. So they say that this persons that is being spoken of are corporations and not actually people, meaning not actually the African Americans. This persons here that is being referred to, Moorish Americans like to say they're referring to corporations. So that's another reason why they say that African Americans aren't United States citizens, because in this 14th Amendment, the persons that are being referred to are corporations. So we're going to get into the 14th Amendment, and we're going to figure out if African Americans are citizens of the United States. So let's read the 14th Amendment. Amendment 14, Citizens' Rights. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Now, as you can see, I have certain phrases within this 14th Amendment are underlined. So each phrase, we're going to go into the Black's Law Dictionary, the dictionary that Moorish Americans love to use, and we're going to look up each of these different terms that are stated within this 14th Amendment to try and figure out whether African Americans are or are not citizens of the United States. Now, one other thing that Moorish Americans love to say is that in law, if you consider yourself black, you're like dead in law. So we're also going to take a look and see if that is in fact true or if it's not true. Now, as I stated, we're going to be looking up these meanings in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, the very law dictionary that Moorish Americans love to use. Now, remember, as I stated in the beginning of this video, Moorish Americans make statements saying that African Americans are not citizens of the United States because they consider themselves black, and black is like dead people and there's no black flag. They like to say things like that. So we're just going to see if we can figure out whether African Americans, we're going to try to figure out if they're citizens of the United States or not. Now, let me jump back. All persons born. So the first word we're going to look up is born. Born, a child. This is what we're doing. If an infant is born dead or at such an early stage of pregnancy as to be able to live, it is to be considered as never born. Marshall versus Tamler. Okay, so that's the first word. Second word we're going to look up is naturalized. So like I said, I'm going to keep jumping back and forth to this 14th Amendment to see which words we're going to look up to try and put the pieces to the puzzle together to figure out whether African Americans are citizens of the United States. Next word is naturalized. So the 14th Amendment is talking about citizenship. So naturalized citizen, one who being an alien by birth has received citizenship under the laws of the state or nation. Okay. So the next one we want to look up is United States. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the things that Moorish Americans like to say is that in regards to this 14th Amendment, when this 14th Amendment is talking about persons, they say that this persons that it is being referred to are corporations, because they know that as far as the legal definition, persons are also corporations. So they say that this persons that is being spoken of are corporations and not actually people, meaning not actually the African Americans. This person's here that is being referred to, Moorish Americans like to say they're referring to corporations. So that's another reason why they say that African Americans aren't United States citizens, because in this 14th Amendment, the persons that are being referred to are corporations. So we're going to try to figure out whether this person's that is being spoken of and this person's here, which we're going to try to figure out if this is corporations that are being speaking of. So the next thing we're actually going to look into is persons. We're not going to look into the United States yet. We're going to look into persons, because as you see, it says all persons born or naturalized. So we're going to look into persons. Let's blow it up so we can see it. Okay, it states persons, a man. So that right there already tells you that persons is a man. A corporation isn't a man. A man, considered according to the rank he holds in society. The word in its natural and unusual signification includes woman. So this right here already lets you know that the persons that are being referred to in this 14th Amendment, the persons that are being referred to here, they're talking about human beings. They're not talking about corporations. So, Moorish Americans, that is one thing that I've just showed you. And this is in your Black's Law Dictionary, the dictionary you love to go into. So the persons here is, and as far as your Black's Law Dictionary is concerned, it is referring to human beings. It says a man. A corporation isn't a man. And then it goes as far as to say they're also talking about women. So now let's dig a little deeper. Okay. Now this is where Moorish Americans get the whole saying that persons are also corporations. Now they're not incorrect by saying that, but to try to say that the persons that are being referred to in the 14th Amendment, they're talking about corporations, is incorrect, and they're giving you false information. Do not listen to it. So let's dig a little deeper. Persons are of two kinds, natural and artificial. A natural person is a human being. Now, the 14th Amendment are referring to natural persons. They're not referring to artificial persons. Artificial persons include a collection or succession of natural persons forming a corporation. Now, like I said, this is where Moorish Americans get this from. Now, when they say persons are corporations, they're not incorrect with saying that, but what they are incorrect in saying is that the persons being referred to in the 14th Amendment are corporations. No, the 14th Amendment is referring to human beings. They're referring to natural persons, because as you see, all persons born. A corporation isn't born. A corporation can't be naturalized. So we're gonna go through each layer of things that Moorish Americans like to say to try to discredit African Americans from being the person spoken of in this 14th Amendment. Okay, now let's keep going a little bit. It has been held that when the word person is used in a legislative act, now I believe that the Constitution is a legislative, the Constitution is a legislative act. So this is what they're talking about it has been held that when the word person is used in a legislative act, natural persons will be intended unless something appear in the context to show that it applies to artificial persons. So this right here is telling you that when you see the word persons in a legislative act, you are to you to know that they're talking about a natural person. Now we just seen what a natural person is. A natural person is a human being. Natural person is a human being. So when we talking about this 14th Amendment here, okay, which is a legislative act, they're talking about human beings. They're not talking about a corporation. So you guys need to really stop saying that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States because the persons being spoken of in this 14th Amendment, they're talking about corporations. You guys are flat out wrong. I just showed you what your fourth Black Law Dictionary says about it. So I don't understand how you guys missed this. Y'all love to go into this Black Law's Dictionary and pull out meanings of stuff. So how did you miss this? It has been held that when the word person is used in a legislative act, natural persons will be intended unless something appear in the context to show that it applies to artificial persons. Now, in this 14th Amendment, there's nothing that shows that it should apply to an artificial person. And we see what a natural person is. A natural person is a human being. So this right here just shows you that the person being spoken of in the 14th Amendment, they're talking about human beings, natural persons. It is being referred to African Americans. Okay, now we're gonna let's see. You see, all right, I have citizens here underlined, right? So we're going to look at the definition of a citizen, because Moorish Americans, once again, they like to say that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States. So let's see what this says about citizens. Okay, citizen. A member of a free city or jural society, possessing all the rights and privileges which can be enjoyed by any person. There go that word person again. So we know what person they're talking about, under its constitution and government. Now, if the person being referred to in the 14th Amendment, if that was a corporation that was being referred to, there is no constitution for corporations. The constitution is for we the people, not for corporations. So you see what this just said. Privileges which is enjoyed on any person under its constitution and government, and subject to the corresponding duties. Citizens are members of a community inspired to common goal, who in associated relations submit themselves to rules of conduct for the promotion of general welfare and conservative of individuals as well as collective rights. Okay, so this right here is telling you what a citizen is. Now, if the 14th Amendment was referring to corporations, right? Corporations aren't members of a community. So this right here also shows you that the persons being referred to are human beings, natural persons, not corporations. Not corporations. Let's see. This is still under citizen. A member of a nation or body politic of the sovereign state or political society, who owes allegiance, a member of the civil state entitled to all its privileges. Okay, so as you can see, this is not talking about corporations. Corporations can't be citizens. 14th Amendment is talking citizenship. So how could you say that the person being referred to in this 14th Amendment are corporations? No. The 14th Amendment is about citizenship. Corporations can't be citizens. They're talking about natural persons. Citizens. Okay, this is the citizens now. Okay, in the citizens section, as you can see in the citizens section, it goes into this. American law. One who under the Constitution and laws of the United States or particular state is a member of the political community owing allegiance. Okay. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. Okay, this is the 14th Amendment. Okay. The term may include or apply to an elector qualified to vote in an election. Okay, so citizens. A term may include or apply to an elector qualified to vote in an election. Now, if the persons that are being spoken of in the 14th Amendment are corporations, I don't believe that corporations can vote in an election. So the 14th Amendment is talking about citizenship, persons that are citizens. And this is clearly telling you the term may include or apply to an elector qualified to vote in an election. So corporations can't vote in an election. Children of American citizens, non-residents who qualify. Okay. Let's see what this is saying over here. Okay, neither a corporation nor a partnership is a citizen of the United States. That right there just kills Moorish Americans' whole argument. Their whole argument is that the person that is being referred to in the 14th Amendment are corporations. So, as you can see, Moorish Americans say that this person right here that are being spoken of in this 14th Amendment are corporations. And that is why African Americans are citizens. But as you can see here, what this says is neither a corporation nor a partnership is a citizen of the United States. So that right there kills their whole argument. Moorish Americans, you can no longer run around saying and teaching people that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States because in the 14th Amendment, the persons that are being spoken of are corporations. That is incorrect. Now I'm going to read it to you again. Neither a corporation nor a partnership is a citizen of the United States. That's it. Your argument is done. Your argument is done. There's nothing else you can say. There's no more for you to say. Okay. Now, I said we was going to look at the United States because it's I underlined it. United States. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Now, we already killed the argument. This right here, this is not a corporation. This persons that are being referred to is not a corporation. Corporations are not citizens of the United States. We just read it right here. So that argument is done. That argument is done. Neither a corporation nor a partnership is a citizen of the United States. So that argument is done. Okay, now we're gonna look at the United States. United States. Whoops. Jump too far. United States. This term has several meanings. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns and family of nations. It may designate territory over which sovereignty of United States extends, or it may be collective name of the states which are united by and under the Constitution. Okay. So, as you can see, I just squashed that whole corporation argument that Moorish Americans like to spew. The 14th Amendment is not talking about corporations. The 14th Amendment are talking about persons, and those persons that are being spoken about are obviously African Americans. 14th Amendment was created to include African Americans into the United States as citizens. So the 14th Amendment is not talking about citizens. You see it right here. It's not. Okay, so we're going to look at life. Let's see, was life? Is life in here? Yep, life is underlined. Underline life. Citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property without due process of law. Okay, so let's go into life. Let's go into life. See what it has to say about life. Life, that state of animals and plants or of an organized being in which its natural functions and motions are performed, or in which its organs are capable of performing their functions. Webster, the sum of the forces by which death is resisted. Okay. Life protection. All right. You can see it. You guys can see it. I'm not going to read this one. I'm not going to read that one. Okay, what are we going to look into next? Natural life. Natural life. The period of a person's existence considered as continuing until terminated by physical dissolution or death occurring in the course of nature, used in contradiction to that jurisdiction and artificial conception of life as an aggregated of legal rights or the possession of a legal personality which could be terminated by civil death. That is the extinction of personality which results from entering a monastery or being attainted of treason or felony. Okay. What's next? Okay. So, as you can see, we just got into it. Moorish Americans, this 14th Amendment is not talking about corporations. This 14th Amendment are talking about natural persons, not artificial persons, natural persons. An artificial person cannot be a citizen of the United States. And I just showed you that. It's clear as day. So for you guys to say that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States is flatly incorrect. If you are born here in the United States, you are automatically a citizen. It does not matter your race, your color, your ethnicity. If you are born on this soil, the United States, you are a citizen of the United States. So please stop teaching false information. Now, I looked up a couple of other words because, like I said, I just squashed that argument that they like to make. So as we can see now, African Americans are in fact citizens of the United States, and all that black and black flag stuff, that's nonsense. Please stop confusing race with nationality. Okay? Please stop confusing race with nationality. Now, I took the liberty of just looking up some other words. Now, I looked up more. Let's see what it says for more. I looked up more in the Black's Law Dictionary. More, an officer in the isles of man who summons the courts for the several sheddings. The office is similar to the English bailiff of 100. Okay, so a more, according to Black's Law Dictionary, is an officer of the court. So, Moorish Americans, are you telling me you guys are officers now? Maybe that's why you guys think you're above the law and think you have the right to travel and break the laws and all stuff, because you probably saw this and said, hey, I'm an officer. No, you're wrong. Okay, I also looked up white persons because they like to say white and black are just colors. They don't refer to people, and sadly mistaken, but the world don't agree with you, and your beloved Black's Law Dictionary doesn't agree with you. White persons, as used in Reverend STUS 2169 Naturalization Act, March. I'm not going to read all of that. Members of a white or Caucasian race, as distinct from the black, red, yellow, and brown races. So once again, as you can see, even your Black's Law Dictionary are telling you that black and white are races. But you guys like to say, hey, no, black and white aren't races. Black and white are color. Yes, black and white are colors, but they also refer to one's race. So if you guys, this is the dictionary that y'all love to quote. So I want to see one of you Moorish Americans rebut this, because this is coming out of your favorite law dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition, and it's clearly telling you that white persons are of a Caucasian race, as distinct from black, red, yellow, and brown races. So it's telling you that black, red, yellow, and brown are also races. So, Moorish Americans, where are you guys getting your information? I guess you guys like to cherry pick what suits you and your ideology. Like you just want to take some from over here, some from over there, and pull it together, and then just start teaching false information. Now let's see what else I looked up. Now, I also looked up black. Now, as you can see, there's no black acre, black act, black acts. Look at black. Black book, black code, black liquor, Black Muslim. Black Muslims. Black Muslim, an organization of American Negroes founded in Detroit in 1930 by an American Negro calling himself Muhammad Elijah. To the traditional Koran, the founders added the doctrine of black supremacy and proclaimed the desirability of maintaining or reigning the purity of the black race. Okay, that's what they got the Nation of Islam defined in here clearly. But you guys like to say, as far as law, black means you're dead and you don't have no rights, when there isn't, in this Black Law Dictionary, there isn't a meaning. The word black is just not here. There's no definition just for the word black. So how could black mean, how could it mean what you guys say, as far as it meaning like somebody being dead in law and just going to get bamboozled, when the word isn't even here? It's not here. I also looked up the word race. Let's see what race means according to the law. Race, an ethical stock, a great division of mankind having in common certain distinguishing physical peculiarities, constituting an comprehensive class appearing to be derived from a distinct primitive source, a tribal or national stock, a division or subdivision of one of the great racial stocks of mankind distinguished by minor peculiarities. Okay. Now, I also pulled up a 2020 census form, which shows what races are accepted in the United States. Now, as you can see, this is the 2020 census form. When you fill out the census, this is one of the pages. White. It's asking you to pick your race, right? So for white, and then they give you examples of white: German, Irish, English, Italian, Lebanese, Egyptian. Whoa. Look at that. They're stealing Egypt from us. The United States, they're crooked, man. I can't believe that they still have the balls to pretty much say that the Egyptians were whites. That's what they're saying. They're stealing our history because they know the pyramids and the Egyptian culture was one of the greatest civilizations in the world. So what have they done? They've stripped Egypt from us. They classified it as white. Now black or African American. Print your example: African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian, Somalian. So as you can see, all of these are considered black. So you would print what you want. Okay, now let's go down. American Indian or Alaskan Native. We see Blackfeet tribe, Now for Chinese, you see the Chinese, Filipino, Asian Indian, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Native Hawaiian, we'll put it there, or some other race. So there's some other races that I guess they are out there that they're like, hey, if you're something else, then you can just put it in there. Pretty weird, but okay. So now we're going to get into we're going to talk a little bit about nationality, because that's the main thing for Moorish Americans. Nationality. Oh, my nationality is Moorish American. No, sir. Moorish American is not a nationally worldwide recognized nationality. Now, you guys want to act like African Americans aren't Americans because they refer to themselves as black, and black don't have a flag and this and that. But when we talking about nationalities, that's when you can get into somebody's flag and what country they're from and things of that nature. So you guys like to say you're Moorish Americans, but then want to claim a Moroccan flag. When Morocco, they don't know nothing about you. They don't have no records of you. And you know why they don't have any records of you? Because you guys were born in the United States. Okay? You guys were born in the United States. Stop being culture vultures. Okay? Stop it. Okay? As I said before, Moorish Americans, this flag right here is not your flag. This is not your flag. Stop trying to claim it. The Moroccan government, they have no documentation of you. You are not a Moroccan. You were born in America. You are an American. This is your flag, whether you like it or not. Those Moroccans over there on the continent of Africa, they look at you guys like, oh, those blacks, because they call you black, even though you don't want to call yourself black. They're like, hey, those blacks over there are confused. They're running around with Fez hats on, which is not even an indigenous African headgear. It's a Turkish headgear, the Ottoman Turkish headgear. And then they want to claim this Moroccan flag. And then they also say the Moroccan flag is 10,000 years old, and that is a crock of doo-doo, because that flag was introduced in around 1912. So there's no way that this flag is 10,000 years old. Like, y'all just teach a whole bunch of nonsense. It is utterly ridiculous. You guys are confused. You guys are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. You're lost. You found an identity of a people that you wanted to incorporate as yours, but you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. So we're going to get into nationality, and we're going to look at the different nationalities that are recognized on the world stage, and Moorish American is not one of them. Sad to say, it's not one of them. Now, as you can see here are some nationalities that are worldwide recognized, okay? So, Moorish Americans like to say that African Americans don't have a nationality. Now, if you know what nationality is, then you guys wouldn't be saying silliness like that. Because as I read to you in the Black's Law Dictionary, nationality, you fall under the governing body where you reside. So if you were born in the United States and you're an American citizen, then your nationality would be American. So stop running around saying that African Americans don't have a nationality, because you're incorrect. Now look at all these nationalities that are recognized by the world. Look at this. Okay, Albania, nationality, adjective, Albanian, and Albanian, language, Albanian, Algerian, and Algerian Arabic. You can see the different nationalities. Look at all these different nationalities. Nationality for Morocco, a Moroccan. Not a Moorish American or a Moorish Moroccan. No. Just Moroccan. That's all. Now, look at all of this. Take a screenshot. These are all of the nationalities that are recognized around the world. And as you can see here, the United States, nationality, American, nationality noun, and American. The language of the United States is English. So as you can see, African Americans' nationality, and anybody else that's born in the United States, whether you're black, Italian, if you're born in the United States, your nationality is American, and your nationality is tied to your national flag. And our national flag, as you know, is the flag with the 50 stars. So you guys running around trying to claim that Moroccan flag, you guys to the world look utterly ridiculous, and the world does not take you guys seriously. Now, we're going to get into connotative linguistics, because Moorish Americans, they say, oh, I'm not black, and black is a color, and how could you be black and white? The colors is not, okay. Yeah, black and white are colors, but it goes deeper than just that. Now, you must understand connotative linguistics. Connotative word meaning. Connotative refers to a meaning suggested or implied by the use of a particular word beyond its literal denotative meaning. Connotation impacts how readers perceive the overall meaning of what a writer or speaker is trying to communicate. Connotative. Adjective. Of a word or expression signifying or suggestive of an associative or secondary meaning in addition to the primary meaning. Okay, so the primary meaning or literal meaning of black and white is referring to colors. Okay, now the secondary meaning of black and white is it is referring to people. Okay, now if you understand connotative linguistics, then you wouldn't run around and say things like, oh, black and white are just colors. I don't refer to myself as black. Well, you know what? You don't have to refer to yourself as black. But when somebody else around the world sees you, they see a black person, Moorish Americans. They don't see a Moorish American. They don't even know what that is. That's just something that you guys have started over here. When they see you, they see a black person, whether you like it or not. Now let's just look out definitions of black. Adjective. Having a very dark color of the night sky or eyes, pupil of the color black. Black or less commonly black. Of or relating to any of various population groups of especially African ancestry, often considered as having dark pigmentation of the skin, but in fact having a wide range of skin colors. So as you can see, and you guys love to go into dictionaries and look up words, you can see right here the dictionary is clearly telling you that black is of relating to various population groups of especially African ancestry. Okay? Of or relating to black people, and often especially to African American people or their culture. So you can see black, the secondary meaning of black. You see? Remember, connotative linguistics, the secondary meaning in addition to the primary meaning. Now the primary meaning, you see, color. Secondary meaning, you see, is referring to black people, and often especially to African American people and their culture. Once you understand connotative linguistics, then the cobwebs will just start falling off of your brain, and you will just understand things. The world will open up to you. You will accept your blackness. Black does not mean death. Black in science does not mean death. That was something that was made up. You can't even prove that. You can't even pull a definition, any type of scientific journal or scientific dictionary where you see the meaning of black meaning death. That's made up, pseudo. Embrace your blackness, Moorish Americans. Now, also looked up white. Having the color of new snow or milk, of the color white. Okay? Of the color white. Color. Now, let's see. Or less commonly white. Of or relating to any of various population groups considered as having light pigmentation of the skin. Okay, so they're obviously talking about people. Pigmentation of the skin. Remember connotative linguistics. Remember this. The primary meaning is colors. Secondary meaning, they're referring to people. Okay, note the meaning of white as it relates to population groups has historically been fluid, with people of particular ancestry being excluded for a time before being included, and vice versa. The category has also often functioned as a grouping into which people who are not designated as belonging in some other category or place. Specific perimeters are, however, sometimes set, as in the U.S. 2020 Census, which stipulates that the category of white includes all individuals who identify with one or more nationalities or ethnic groups originating in Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Well, you see, they did it again. They're talking about North Africa. They're stealing African history right under our noses. They're trying to say that North Africans are white, and that would put you Moorish Americans in that same category because Moors are from North Africa. But you guys aren't white. You guys aren't white. Or less commonly, of or relating to white people or their culture. As you can see, connotative linguistics. Secondary meaning, referring to white people. Once you understand connotative linguistics, then that'll be it. So now, Moorish Americans, I've just proven to you that in the 14th Amendment, the word persons that is being spoken of, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. This word persons, they are not referring to corporations. They're referring to natural persons, meaning human beings, not corporations. So for you guys to say that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States is incorrect. I have just proven that statement to be false. So for all Moorish Americans who see this video, you guys now know that your statements are incorrect. I've just done the research for you because you guys clearly have not. So after watching this video, you guys should, if you're honest, you guys should not still teach that African Americans aren't citizens of the United States. And you should not teach that in this 14th Amendment, the persons that are being referred to are corporations, because I just showed you that that is wrong. That is wrong. Neither a corporation nor a partnership is a citizen of the United States. So you guys are wrong.